Alright, you guys saw my PowerGoat version 1 versus version 2 yesterday. Today we are doing the full review of the PowerGoat version 2. And in today's video we're going to do a full range test on the PowerGoat version 2. Now it is a Saturday, so hopefully traffic's not too bad today. Because on the way back I'm not going to get that top speed and be able to keep up with the speed limit here. So we're going to take a ride into town, right around the neighborhood. There's lots of hills and just all kinds of terrain. But before we go that route, we're going to go down the hill climbing route, and I'm going to show you what this thing can do at climbing hills. Now I did do a full range test on the PowerGoat version 1 as well, so we can compare numbers, exactly what the differences are between the two. And then once we finish this, we can install the second battery and test out the PowerGoat version 2 with dual batteries, which I'm extremely excited about. So we're going up the 6% grade right here, which this bike is going to tackle it like nothing. Right up here is the 8% grade right here. We're hitting that at 23 miles per hour. They're getting ready to put in a new subdivision, so there's quite a bit of construction here. We're going to go back all the way down this road. We're going to hit the other hill, which is a 12% grade. And here is the 12% grade. This is the steepest hill close to my house, the one I test all my bikes on. And you can hear the rubbing of the brakes a little bit. After they warm up, they start to rub a little bit. That'll go away eventually once the pads wear down a bit. But I am going to work on trying to adjust the brakes a little bit better, make them not have any noise, hopefully. But yeah, this is a 12% grade. We're still hitting it at like 20 miles an hour, so pretty decent. Now the PowerGoat version 2 has a 60 volt, 20 amp hour battery, which equates to 1200 watt hours. So we should get quite a bit of range, and maybe even more range than the stock PowerGoat V1, because this one has Samsung cells like we discussed in the last video. And as you saw in that video, the performance on the Samsung cells is just like 10 times better than the other one. Now they're pretty much the same speed. This one's a little bit faster, just slightly. But what we're going to get out of the new battery is performance. Like, we're going to get a little bit more mileage because of the better quality cells. We don't have that voltage sag like we do with the other one. So it's just going to make it that much better. We just hit 45 miles per hour, 47 miles per hour. That's crazy. Was not expecting that. Now that was a downhill, so keep that in mind. But we're gonna make a left here at the stop sign. Wait for this car. Wow, 47 miles per hour max speed. Should probably turn my blinker off. And for those of you that don't know, this has a 60 volt, 2000 watt nominal direct drive motor in the back. Which is the same motor that they have on the version 1. So not too much of a difference in terms of motor performance. They're going to be about the same. The rear tire on the back of this bike is a 4.5 inch wide, so 20 by 4.5 inch, and the front one is 20 by 4. So not much difference in ride performance with the tires either, just that the front has a different size tire than the stock version 1 did. Now once we get that second battery installed, we'll be able to go pretty much anywhere we want, which I'm really excited about. Like if I need to run an errand, I'll be able to make it pretty much anywhere. Now we live outside of town, so we're not right in town, so just the one battery I could get to where I want to go, but I'm struggling to get back with one battery after I'm done. Now we rode all the way to the school, which is pretty far away from my house, the last time we were on the version 1. So we might end up doing that today. We'll see. I don't think we're going to get much faster than 47 miles per hour though. That might be our top speed ever, and might be the top speed forever. Maybe. Now we're going to try to stay within the speed limit here. We're now in town, so now we're going to make a left here. Hope we don't get hit. People do not like to pay attention in this area. And we might drive by the park and do the overview there. This is the park I used to go to every day when I was a kid. Whether it was to play basketball, baseball, tennis, all the sports. But there's a nice shady area, at least it used to be nice and shady. We'll see. Haven't been there in a while. Alright, we're gonna turn here. This is right by the police station, so we may end up having to pedal. Hopefully we get lucky and nobody's over here and we can just chill, record our video. There used to be racquetball courts right where that pavilion is. Doesn't look like they have that anymore. And looks like nobody's here, I don't think. And maybe there's somebody back there. Yeah, there's somebody there. There's nobody over here in this pavilion. Let's go down here. Let's get over here in the shade. And let's talk about this bad boy a little bit. Alright, here is the PowerGo version 2. We were doing the full review on it today. It is a very, very nice looking e-moped style e-bike. This does a top speed of 45 plus, average about 35 to 40, depending on terrain, weight, all of those parameters. The PowerGo V2 is made really to carry a passenger, but I really appreciate the long seat because I can scoot back and relax. But if you're going to carry a passenger, the suspension on the back does have a rated weight limit of 450 pounds, so you and a passenger should be able to fit on here, no problems. I am planning on swapping those rear springs out for something a little bit softer, considering I'm never going to ride with anybody. It's just going to be me. Now the PowerGoat version 2 also has a section here where we can install a second battery, which I have and I will be installing. And you can see on the frame the welds are just really done nicely. Looks very, very professional and really put together very well. All the cabling's routed up under the frame, so you really don't see any cables other than down here where the derailleur cable goes. Now it doesn't have any special derailleur on it. It's just a Torney derailleur. You're not really going to be pedaling this too much, even though it does have pedals. Really, you're going to use those as foot pegs, but they're there if you need to ride in a area that requires pedaling. I love the new logo. The gray color just looks really good on this bike, and the goat logo on the battery, I like that way better than the older version. So it's nice to see that they're making some subtle changes to make this bike a little bit better. Now we do have 20x4 fat tire rims here. They are mag wheels, so they look really nice, and I always prefer that, to be honest. You don't have to mess with spokes. The front tire is a 20x4" tire, but the rear tire is a 20x4.5, so it is a little bit fatter, as you can see here. And it does have front and rear fenders, so you don't have to worry about getting mud or anything. And they are plastic, so no loud noises from rocks and gravel, so I like to see that. This bike is actually perfect for me. I love everything about it. It can do a little bit of off-roading, but really they designed this for the road, and I am pretty much only going to be riding it on the road for the most part. The headlight is amazing. We've seen that in the version 1. It does have turn signals, so it does have a sequential turn signal. It also has hazards, so if you hit this little button here up on the control panel, we have hazards, and in the back they are also sequential, and that's pretty cool. The battery is a 60 volt 20 amp hour battery, and we will eventually have 40 amp hours total once we install the second battery in the next video. The foot pegs fold, so if you don't have a passenger on here, you can fold those up. We do have the rear lock. You saw this in the version 1, but this pulls out and then it locks into the frame here where this hole is. Slides right through there and through the wheels, so if anybody tries to steal your bike, they're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to ride it anywhere. Now they could try to lift it up and put it in a truck, I guess, but this thing weighs over 100 pounds. So the gearing is pretty simple, pretty standard, but it does have a double walled chain guard and a derailleur guard, so that's really nice to see. The rear turn signal is functional just like a car. It has brake lights, turn signals, the whole 9 yards. Lights up at night, and then there is a license plate bracket there. The seat is very comfortable, looks really nice on here. Different material like we talked about in the last video than the version 1, but it's very subtle. You don't notice it when you're riding. Feels exactly the same. Up here on the dash, let me go ahead and just sit up here. We got our grips. We're gonna take this end cap off. I'll show you how to do that. And I'm going to put mirrors on here, so we're going to have a mirror at least on the left side. I don't know if I'll put one on the right or not, we'll see. We're going to take this off and put a bar in mirror on it. Here's your control panel for the turn signals, so left and right turn signal. You have a horn, we'll honk that on our way out. Here's the headlight switch, so it has no headlight, just the daytime running light, regular headlight, and then a high beam. So it's got 3 positions. And then here's your hazard switch right here, and it just clicks in. And then here's your control panel to control the screen. So the screen can be controlled with this, so you can set your PAS levels with the plus and minus, and go through the menu. Now you can get in the menu by holding the plus and minus, and it does have a lot of options here, so we can change a bunch of different settings, and you can go through this and see what you need to set. The bike does have cruise control. It looks like it has Bluetooth, so you can use an app. It has the option to change voltage, which you're never going to do. You can change the light sensitivity, so how sensitive it is to turn on the headlight automatically. You can reset the odometer, which I don't know why you would ever want to do that. Start strength, we have ours set to 5, so you can change that if you want. It has electric ABS, which is electric braking, so it has like a regen. Boost drive, which we are not going to change. Zero start, you have to start pedaling before the throttle would work. Boost gear, this is your PAS levels. We're leaving it at 5. Speed limit, you can limit your speed. Wheel size, we got it set to 24 because of the fat tires, and the display is fairly accurate. We may change some of those settings. And the LCD backlit is how bright the LCD is, so you can have it on 1, 2, or 3. I leave mine on the brightest one. And we do have a percentage gauge and a voltage gauge. So we've ridden 8 miles and we've only lost 24% of the battery so far. It does have adjustments on the suspension, but it's just a compression adjustment. It doesn't really do much of anything other than make it more stiff. There is no preload. The headlight does have a horn integrated into it, so when you honk the horn, it is digital and makes a noise. Now, when I got this bike, and even now, it looks like the headlight is sliding down. Now I have this as tight as I can get it, so I might have to get some more foam to put in here, but it looks like they're all falling out, so the headlight's been sliding down. I'm gonna work on making that better, but I do have it tightened down as much as I can, and it came from the factory pretty loose, so keep an eye on that when you get your bike. Now they have these little rubber stoppers here for when you turn your handlebars and it doesn't hit the frame, so that's what those are for. You have 203 millimeter rotors on the front and back, as well as the 4-piston hydraulic brakes by Ronglon. Here's the hydraulic brake levers. The grips are something to be desired. I don't think you're ever going to wear them down. They're pretty hard, and people have been asking how you swap these out, or if you even can, because of the throttle. The throttle is a full twist throttle, so I have a solution to this. It isn't swapping these grips out, but adding a grip. I'll show you that later. Here's your Shimano SIS index shifter that you're probably never going to use. It does have a key to turn it on and off, so you got to turn the key and then hit the power button to power it up. And that is pretty much it for the PowerGoat version 2. Let's go ahead and continue on and finish out this range test. Okay, let's take a trip out to West City Park, which I could never do on any of my other bikes unless I rode on the sidewalk. And there is a bike path right there, which I'm not taking this on. Here's the speed camera. That's telling me to slow down. Didn't tell me the speed. I wanted to see my speed. People down there in the creek. That's the same creek that runs by my house. They're all connected. Now this is the same park we went to when we rode the version 1. Look at all the geese, my God. So many. Now they have an 18-hole disc golf course here. It's actually a really good one. I've never played on it, but it's gonna be 97 degrees Fahrenheit tomorrow. So I definitely didn't want to do the full range test on the PowerGo V2 tomorrow. I had to do it today. Even though I didn't want to leave the house, I just wanted to relax. I think my puppy dog either got stung or bit by something. He was having some issues. He had a little bit of bump on his head, but that went away. But he was up most of the night dealing with that. So was I. So I had to sleep in today. I didn't wake up till 2 o'clock. That tells you anything. It was a long night. So I definitely did not want to come outside today. I just wanted to stay home and relax, but I pushed through. I wanted to do this video for you guys. And I want to get my second battery installed, so okay, we're good. Yeah, the park's pretty dead today. Few people here, but not many. At least they got a lot of signs that say things about bikes or have bike pictures, meaning you need to pay attention. But not a lot has changed in this area since I was a kid, mostly the same. Now this is the road that I've been thinking about doing my 0 to whatever speed on because it's pretty flat. The only problem is the speed limit's 30 miles an hour and I don't really want to get a ticket. Last time I came down this road, it was during school season, and I came right when they were letting the kids out of school. And last time I went down that way, almost got attacked by a Great Dane. It literally lunged after me and was right at my head, but it missed. So I don't go that way anymore. People like to leave their dogs off leashes, and I guess they have the right if they're in their own house, but when it takes off from their driveway, goes out in the middle of the road and almost attacks somebody. Yeah, speedometer is fairly accurate. There's that arrow 6. Do I have a loss of power? Kind of feels like it. Okay, we'll pull over up here and see. Actually, I think I'm getting power back, but let's turn this bad boy off. Not sure why we're getting the arrow 6, but let's turn it off, turn it on, turn on the power button. Now it says we have 14%. We just had 60 something. Battery's on. Turn it off. Turn the battery off. Turn the battery back on. Turn the key back on. Hit the power button. Yeah, I'm not real sure what happened there. Oh, and we don't have any throttle. Oh wait, probably because I'm on PAS 0. Well, that's interesting. We dropped from 60% to 14 in seconds. And we're getting the Aero 6 thing. I think I had that happen on my PowerGo V1 when I was getting low battery. Now we're still getting 35 miles an hour. But we dropped a lot of battery just right off the bat. I got the headlight off, so I know it's not that. But we're definitely gonna head home. Yeah, and I definitely feel a loss of power. But we're at 13% and we are barely pulling 20 miles an hour. And because we're at that low battery, Air 6 is popping up on the screen the entire time. So we're just gonna ride around here. Luckily, this bike has pedals, so I can get home if I need to. Oh, I haven't even switched gears or anything. I was on 4 the whole time. Didn't pedal once. It's going to take a while to kill this 12% battery, so I'll cut to that part of the video and let you guys know where I ended at. I'm not going to keep you sitting here watching me ride around in circles. We made it, we'll say 19.3 miles on the battery, which is decent. We should get about 40 miles. With the second battery, maybe more because it'll be a little bit more optimized. We're going to find that out though in the next video. So do I think this bike is worth the $2,300, $2,400 price tag? Absolutely. They are going to be raising the price though, so keep that in mind. You definitely want to make a purchase if you are looking at this bike and you're on the fence. They are raising the price very, very soon. So, and we're going to be installing the second battery in the next video and doing a performance test with this and see if we get any speed increase and see if we get any power increase. So the assembly on this bike's pretty straightforward. First thing we're going to do is install the handlebars. So first thing we're going to do is take the stem off the top. All right, we're going to take this off. Now we are going to take the handlebars, make sure it's orientated in the right way and that the wires are in the right position. So you may have to twist and turn to get this right. All right, handlebars are installed. All right, next thing we're going to do is plug these 2 cables in that look like Christmas. So what you're going to do is pull the little plastic piece out of the caliper here. They put that in for shipping. And then this just kind of sits in here. And then you should have a through axle in your box. Let me go look for that. So this was the hardest part on the last install I did for the PowerGoat. The through axle has these spacers, so you just got to figure out which side goes to which. So the easiest way to figure out which side this goes on is the big one will go on the opposite of the brake rotor, so that's going to need the most space to make this work. And then this little spacer that's going to go on the brake side. So you got to kind of stick this through, and this goes on the inside and then these 2 go on the outside, so it's like this. So you got your 2 spacers, those go on the inside of the fork, and then this goes on the outside. So basically just stick your first spacer in and then stick that down through, let it rest, and then lift it up, stick that other spacer through, and then just kind of set it in place. That's the easiest way to do it. Then you'll take your anti-rotation washer and it goes like this, so the pointy end will go on the bottom, but the top for you, but the bottom of the bike, bottom of the fork. So you stick those in. Pretty good. A little bit of a noise on the front brake rotor. Looks straight, just probably need to align the caliper. All right, that's the hardest part of the whole thing, I believe. The turn signals and headlights a little tricky, so we'll focus on that. Let me flip the bike back around so we can do the fender. Now, if you don't have a set of handlebar jacks like I do, you could use the foam from the box to set your handlebar grips on. That way you don't damage your screen or any of the components. Okay, first thing we're going to do is install the turn signals. That way the headlight is not in the way. For the turn signals, you use the holes closest to the forks. So you'll take your wire, stick it through that hole there, and take your bolt that you unscrewed from here and just slide it in. Pretty simple. Now, one thing you'll want to pay attention to on these turn signals, you'll see the top of them are different than the bottom. That's because it has a little projector that goes out on the ground and puts this little cool circle design. Kind of like a safety feature so people see you at nighttime and it shines down on the ground. So with these, you got to make sure you got these on the bottom. Okay, let's go ahead and throw our headlight on there so we can align everything. And again, the writing goes this way. So just take those two bolts off. The yellow wires coming from your headlight will plug into the yellow wires that are up here on the wire harness. Now there's that. Now we could take these and zip tie them up here somewhere. We'll do that later. All right, last thing we have to do here is the fender and the pedals, both which are very easy to do. You do have the two fender stays that go on each side right here. I gotta go grab a different Allen key. All right, we're installing the fender stays now. Just bolting those on, and there's a bolt on each side, and that's the last thing you have to do for the fender. Then comes the two sets of accessories for your feet, the pedals and the rear foot pegs for your passenger. So here's the included package case that holds the battery charger and I believe the foot pegs, if I remember correctly. Oh, and a toolkit. Is this a toolkit? Oh, nice. Yeah, the toolkit with the pegs. I always use my own, but this is great to bring with you. The toolkit includes a set of Allen wrenches, a couple standard wrenches, so your hex heads are here. Nice and compact little set of tools. You got two wrenches here, a 10, an 8, a 15, and a 13. That should be all you need for this bike. Pedals are on. Next are our pegs, and those go down here. You just take your bolt, slide it through the hole here, and screw your pegs on. You also want to make sure these caps are screwed in all the way. I lost one of mine on the last bike, so just keep an eye on those. You may want to throw some blue Loctite on there. Alright, and then all you gotta do is take your battery, slide it down here into the bracket, and it just sets in place here. And then you just push it down, and out of your 3 keys, it's the one that says re-engine on it. And that locks it in place, so it won't budge now. Now we can charge it up and go for a ride. So there's been some discussion on the Goat Power Bikes Facebook owners group. If you're not a part of that already, go hit that link down in the description. But there's been some issues with an error code 30 that comes up on the bike while you're riding at night or when you have the headlight on. And that's because of a signal disruption between the headlight and the display. So for those that have got their bikes already that aren't waiting for their shipments, if you get this error message, this is how you fix it. So if you get this cable in the box, this is a cable you need to actually install. For those that are getting their bikes mid-July and out, you'll already have this installed on your bike. But for anything that was shipped out previous to mid-July, you will have this cable in the box. And this is to fix this communication issue in the error code 30. I'm going to show you how to install this today. It's pretty easy. They do provide a wiring diagram in this package. I also have a photo which I'll post on the screen right now. But we're going to walk through how to install this, and this is something you should do if you have the Air Code 30 or you receive this little package in your box. So here's the wiring diagram that's provided in the package. This tells you exactly what to connect each wire to. It looks like there is a couple different color wires that will be plugging into a different color wire. So don't judge this based on colors. You're not going to plug color to color. You're going to be changing some stuff. All right, first thing you're going to want to do is take these little twisty wire management things off. So we are locating a long cable coming from the display. So you'll have a short one here and you'll have a long one here. This one you'll want to unplug. That goes to the red port on the wiring harness. So go ahead and plug that red port into the display port. Then the single wire from the harness, which is green and a female port, that's going to go to the throttle. We're going to pull the cable off the throttle here, so your twisted throttle. Unplug that cable. So then you're going to take the throttle cable and that single wire coming out of that new harness, you're going to plug that in to the throttle cable, like that. Okay, and then you're left with one cable, and that's a green one, and that plugs in here. Fairly straightforward. So that should all be good. Now let's turn on the display, make sure everything's working. We are going to make sure the headlight's working. It is. We're going to make sure the throttle is working, which will turn on. It is. So it looks like everything is functioning the way it should. So that's how you install the cable. Pretty simple. I got this little bar end mirror for my Power Goat version 2, and we're going to install it. But first, I saw a lot of chatter about this. This is pretty funny. The bar end, people can't get it off. How do you get it off? It does have an Allen key, does have a hex head to possibly undo this to be able to pull it out, but it doesn't work. So you got to end up prying it off. We're going to do that today. I have a couple pairs of pliers, some plumbing pliers, and a set of vice grips. We'll probably try the vice grips first because they pretty much work on anything. And I don't really care if I mess these up because I'm never going to put them back on. Okay, there we go. And then you just yank them out, pretty much. Ah, there you go. Pretty simple, eh? That's what you get when you take the bar end off. Now we're going to install my new mirror on there. This is going to, when you screw it, it's going to compress, and then it's going to just tighten against the handlebars. Then you'll be able to move it up and down. Step though is to get it into here. So yeah, we are definitely going to have to cut. Soon I'm going to have a workbench, so I'll be able to do all this kind of stuff on my workbench and then some. And here we go. All right, yeah, it's going to look good. So I just wanted a little bitty mirror. I think that looks pretty cool actually. Kind of like it. I have so many mirror options, I could go with anything, literally. I have almost every mirror that's on Amazon. I work with a lot of these companies and always promote their products. So Hafni is my #1 supporter. They always send me mirrors when I ask. I can't ask for more than that, but they make some really nice mirrors for bikes, no matter what you're riding. They have bar ends. They have some that attach. I have one on my scooter. That's actually a Mi Chow mirror. That's another brand that is really popular. I have a bar end mirror of this as well. Kind of hard to show you, but yeah, pretty cool. They got one on the Grizzly over here. So there's another Hafni. All kinds of shapes and sizes, and I just prefer the bar end mirrors personally. They always work the best for me. This is actually pretty sturdy. Looks like it's really well made. I like that we can, alter the mirror and it stays tight, so you don't have to worry about it. When you're on the bike, you can angle it to whatever and leave it. And if it gets bumped, it's pretty easy to put it back, I think. So what are my final thoughts on the Power Goat version 2? Now, you guys are going to notice I have a second battery installed. The second battery video is coming tomorrow. I'll show you how to install the whole thing. Overall, I'm extremely happy with this bike. There are a couple quirks, there's a couple bugs, things that will get ironed out through other iterations, but so far everything's been working really good. After I installed this second battery, here's a little teaser for you guys. I increased about 1 to 2 miles per hour roughly, and that's with both of them fully charged. If you're looking to purchase a Power Goat or a Motor Goat or a Billy Goat or any of the other goat bikes, go down at the top of the description. There will be a link for you to be able to purchase and save you some money. If you have any questions about these bikes, leave them down in the comments. And I really appreciate all of you guys for watching. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video, which is going to be the second battery install.